All right, so we back at it again. So this session will be lettering shading. So as you see, I'm finishing up the love word. So again, you want to make sure you just hitting those points. So I'm from A to B, from A to B. And you see we just pulling straight, clean lines. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, nothing too extra, no curves, no nothing, just from point A to point B, boom. And like I said, these traditional style letters typically go with like a 9, 11, those type of things. Like depending on what size the tattoo is, really determine the size that you really need. All right, so as I wrap this up, we're gonna go ahead and switch our needles out. Let me go ahead and clean this face skin off real quick. But we're gonna go ahead and switch this out to a mag. So I'm thinking with this one, I like use either between 11s and 13s for something this big. So you can go a little bit bigger if you want to. I feel like the bigger the mag, the smoother the shading can be. So I think for this one, we'll go with a 13 mag. Again, we just got this new set of Stigma needles, and I'm trying to try out everything. So we're gonna go with a 13 mag. Shit takes forever to clean off. That's why I hate fake skin, but this what we here for. So in this, I'm gonna just show you, the root to this. The root to this ombre shading is just, you're gonna make a transition. So the bottom half is gonna be very dark, and then it's gonna transition into a slow gradient. Now, in traditional style tattooing, you'll see a lot of times they don't use gray wash. They just pretty much go straight forward with straight black. But as you develop your skill, with the technique that we're gonna use right now, it's gonna be whip shading. So it's pretty much, you're going into the skin at the bottom point, that's the darkest point, and then you whipping out of the skin at the lightest point, and that's how you get your gradient. So you'll watch and see as I continue to build that gradient, and you'll see I'm gonna go over it a few times, and you'll see as it starts dark and then as it transitions into light. All right, so just make sure that your needle's hanging out far enough that you're able to see it. Not too far out where you like really puncturing or damaging the skin, but just far out enough that as you're stroking the skin, you're able to see the ink go in. How I look at it is round liners are more like pencils and mags are more like brushes. So then you can see right here where, it's just a wide layer of needles and it just covers more space. Like I said, so we're gonna get into it. Again, you're gonna see the transition from the dark to the light, and check out the technique. So again, going in at the bottom, and we're just slowly building that bottom part up. Right, so it's like a shovel motion. So you're just pretty much getting that dark layer in there at the bottom. And you'll see as I slowly transition from doing the very bottom, like digging in, and then just kind of like bringing it up more while I'm just whipping it out. Boom, boom. All right, yep, see that. Again, too, man, a lot of this is just going to be repetition. Some of it might not look so smooth initially starting out, but you do it enough, you'll definitely get the hang of it. You'll see your transition start to build. And so what you continue to do here is you'll just, if you want to as well, you can also dilute if you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself to make the transition from dark to light. So maybe you can just dab your needle in the water a little bit. That'll dilute your ink, and it'll also give you kind of a gray wash effect. That's if you don't want to do just a straight black and whip shading, but everybody got their own methods. But with me, I'm just sticking with straight black and just whipping it out. All right, so you see that? You see it's pretty straightforward, man. It's pretty straight to the point. All right, looks like I'm jabbing the skin, but I'm really just digging in, whipping out. So in another video, I'll show you the method of what that really means. But right here, we just gonna go through it and kind of see what I'm doing. All right, so here I'm gonna just go ahead and speed up to these last 2 letters, and we're gonna get to the life. And so with the life, I'm using a 7 mag. So I'm still keeping it in the mags. It just makes it a little bit easier to fill in these spaces a lot quicker. Again, you can use a round shader to do the same thing, get some of the same effects. But like I said, we're trying to do it very efficiently and effectively, quick as possible. But like I said, definitely be careful with your mags as well. Make sure you're not using the very edges or the corners of it, because you can chop up the skin. Make sure you're still using the flat surface of it. Don't be scared to hit those lines either, like going line to line. My mentor used to always tell me, he was so afraid to go to these lines with these mags. And I used to be, because I was feared that I would go over the lines. But again, once you get the hang of it, you'll see. All you got to do is just, do your best to get close enough to it. That's when you can use the corners or the edges of it, and just make sure that it's all packed in, nice and solid. Yeah, whenever I fill in, again, we're using those tight, small circles, but once I feel like I'm done and I finish filling out the basics, I will go over it a couple more times with more like a cross-hatching type of effect, just making sure that we covered all our bases. We don't want no holes in our black, we want straight black. Yeah, man, this is pretty straightforward. Again, you're just going in those small spaces and you're filling it in. Sometimes you can also use your liner to fill in like very, very small spaces. You can see on the L, like those little whips at the end, those little points. You can easily go switch back to your round liner and fill those in. Like I said, little small circles, or what I was taught once as well was a little back and forth motion, kind of like filling those spots. But they real small, so it won't be too hard to fill that in. And you see, like when I'm on my edges, I just kind of use the sides of it just to make sure that I'm hitting the edges more than anything, and then just going in the middle, boom, filling it in. Like I said, with this one, it's pretty straightforward. So we'll go ahead and speed up through this, and we'll see you in the next session.